Hi, welcome to SBL Biz TV, and in today's episode we're going to speak to you about social media online consultants. You know, there's been a ton of buzz about social media for the last few years here, and it's obviously growing. And with that buzz, obviously businesses are moving towards it to attract more prospects. And one of the most challenging things for small local businesses, and small businesses for that matter, is the fact that it's like a maze out there, and most small business owners I talk to just kind of throw up their hands in confusion a lot of times as to what they need to do to be able to get more involved with social media. So, do you need an online consultant, and is it worthwhile? In today's episode, we're going to take a look at that. So we're going to take a look here today at whether or not having a social media online consultant makes sense for your small business. You know, many times as a small business owner, you'll start seeing different media that specific businesses in your sector are utilizing, and you know that they're running it time after time again, and you're like, you know what, this has got to be working for them, and it's something that I need to implement in my business. And then you go ahead and you do it, and you take that next step, and you spend the money, and you get your campaign running, and test it, and boom, it fails miserably. And you're sitting there scratching your head, well, you know, my competitor's obviously doing it for the last 6 months, and it's got to be doing something, and I'm hearing it's doing well for him or her. And once again, you're just sitting there scratching your head. So the question is do I hire an online consultant? Will an online consultant take situations like this and make it better? Well, the answer is yes and no. And I would say to you, garbage in, garbage out. Like any other kind of system, you have to have quality. If you have a quality consultant, obviously, my belief is that they're worth every penny, and they will make a difference in your business. And if you don't, the opposite is true. You'll have that campaign, and you'll get a very professional result, but losing is losing, my friends, and at the end of the day, if they're not getting the job done, then it's not doing anything for your business, and it's money that's being wasted. So does social media consultants get quicker results, is a common question I hear. And yes, they should, is the answer I would give you. Why? Because they're professionals, ultimately. And it's no different than you and your, selling your product or service for your company that you own, is you know it well. And ultimately, if you know something well, you should get good results. But once again, it goes back to the previous point I made, that garbage in, garbage out. You have to take the time to learn what is a good social media consultant and what is not. And I would say this, and above and beyond everything, taking the time to learn social media and be trained on it, whether or not you end up taking it in-house and working it yourself or hiring a consultant, is worth, its weight in gold, because ultimately the wrong choice can make all the difference in the world when you're working with a consultant. And if you don't know the questions to ask and you don't know anything about social media, you're accepting every answer they're giving you. Make sense? Next is the big B word. Doesn't fit my budget. Well, ultimately, you know your marketing budget best, okay? I will say this, that social media brings branding first, lead second. And I believe that today it's important, tomorrow will be imperative that you have a presence on social media, because ultimately the younger generation, you look at the percentages of them that go to social media for referrals and finding out about companies, obviously that's going to grow in more and more, and it's making its way towards older demographics. So it's critically important that you at least make steps towards progressing and building your image with social media. Then the next question is, does it fit your budget? And for return on investment, that's a longer term commitment. You have to think about that. If you're going into hiring a consultant, is it going to be a shorter term thing where you're just bringing them on to get you going and then you're going to bring it in-house? And that's great. Or is it a longer term commitment that you're making and you want to get a return on investment with it? But I think it's important for you when you're going into it to realize that social media up front is a lot about branding yourself and building an image, and then ultimately leads will flow and that will turn into sales. So we've looked at these several of these topics as whether it's important or not to be hiring a social media online consultant. The last question is, should you? I believe, like any type of professional that you're hiring, that it has to make sense for your firm. Obviously, dollars and cents, that is. I think, once again, as I said earlier in this little short session here today, that a good social media specialist is worth their weight in gold, and that if you find the right one, it can make a big difference in your business. Ultimately, that choice is yours. I just want to address it here today because you hear a lot of talk about it, and a lot of small businesses, small local businesses as well, are trying to figure out how do they get into this, what they do. And ultimately, I think it's important for you to take a look at that. In previous episodes and on our blog, we've given some resources to look at for social media specialists. Take a look at that. And as always, you have all those resources at sblbiz.com. And remember, leads are the fuel to your business. I believe the best brand of fuel is online marketing. My name is Mike Cosentino, and thank you for your time.